Hey everyone, my name is Lizardo from Daily Cigar, and I'm joined today with my good friend Ricardo, which is a
chef and restaurateur, and I also have an online wine business.
I also have a cigar online business, and every time we get together, we're always talking about business and lifestyles
And we appreciate the finer things in life, like good wine and great cigars. So, Lizardo, my good friend, if you remember in the last video,
yeah,
we were talking about how there's a market for everything and the reflection of price on quality and I suppose the target audience. So today, I'm going to take you through a blind wine tasting.
No, we were talking about how people are buying cheap wine and thinking that is good wine.
Yes. So we're going to see if you think it's a good wine today.
Yeah, I see that you have two decanters. I don't know what wine. I'm guessing one of his. One is one of your wines, right?
We'll find out.
One's got to be a cheap wine. That's the whole point of this, yeah?
So I didn't go super cheap. The point being, because I think if it's super, very nasty, I mean, you're gonna
pick it up.
You're gonna know straight away. And I wanted to kind of pick a supermarket shelf wine, which is lower on the price scale. Firstly, see what you think.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's all right.
Yeah, but that's gonna make it difficult, man. I thought you were gonna give me some cheapy wine.
No.
Like, yes, I know which one it is. I'm a good sommelier. I know about wine.
I do not put cheap wine in my body. I want you to see if you can pick up not just which one is the better wine, but also what would you pay for that wine.
Okay.
How much would you pay for that wine?
Okay.
And then we're going to reflect on the price that you could get it for online, and then what restaurants would charge you.
Well, that's nice.
What you would pay in a restaurant.
Okay, so I'm surprised because although we do have some points on what we're going to talk about the podcast, I don't know the full scale of what we're going to do. So I didn't know how it was going to go. I knew we were going to taste two different wines. So I prepared a cigar for this, which is the Joya de Nicaragua 4-5 Vintage Reserva Especial, sorry. And this is a double Robusto box pressed.
Double Robusto.
Yes. And it's a box press. So as you can see, it's not round like every other cigar. So this one has a little bit more body. Last time we smoked one of Ricardo's favorite.
That is yeah.
But today we have one that I've smoked only a couple of times. I really enjoyed it, but it has a bit more body, more strength. So I thought it'll be perfect to ruin it with a crappy wine, maybe.
The crappy wine. Maybe make the crappy wine taste better.
You want me to light them up whilst you?
Yes, you light it.
Pour some wine.
I will pour the wine.
Let me light yours up first.
I'm not going to tell you which one we're going to go with first.
So from the first...
It's like 120 mil, 100 mil.
From the first appearances, I can see that wine is lighter color.
I'm going to mention some points.
Yeah, that one is...
What you can look out for as well when you're buying wine in a supermarket.
That one looks much... That one is a lot darker.
There's reasons for both.
Okay, so it doesn't mean the one is cheaper than the other one because of the color, yeah?
Not always.
Okay.
Not always. Firstly, I want you to try it. See what you think. And then we'll go on to the other one. We'll try that one. And then we'll see which one we want to continue drinking. Right? We're not going to drink both tonight.
Oh, okay. Give it a taste. Hopefully it's to your liking as well.
So tell me about it again.
So it's called Joya de Nicaragua 4-5, and it's a box press. And this one is a Reserva Especial. First of all, it has a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, a Dominican Republic binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. It has ranked 95 in Cigar Aficionado. Let me know what you think of the first couple of puffs on it. I also want you to try more cigars and see if we can widen your palate on it. So I don't want to tell you too much because then you'll be biased.
So I feel like it's got a lot of body to it.
Yeah.
To start. Which then, is that naturally going to reflect as if the further it goes down the cigar?
Yeah, so it should get a bit
stronger.
Yeah.
I'd definitely say this is for the, not seasoned cigar smokers, but for the ones who are into the fuller bodied, heavier cigars, right? It's also very interesting, the box press. I don't think I've ever actually smoked a cigar.
I know, it's different, isn't it?
It's very different to hold.
Yes. It's like a floral note to it. Do you pick it up?
I feel a kind of dark flavors to it, heavy, that kind of thing.
But there's something on the smoke, a bit floral. A lot of smoke as well. Creamy.
Yeah, nice.
But there's no pepper.
It's not pepper. No, not like
see?
like the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the cigar culture has a bit of pepper start from the beginning.
Yeah,
and remember you said, do they all start like this? Not.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't have any pepper at the beginning.
Yeah, I get that.
Let's try the wine then, because I don't want to get my palate too tobacco-y.
Okay.
Before
It is worth noting that you did say it's a lot lighter.
Yes.
It's almost like
burgundy color.
Yeah, tinges to it.
Yes. And why do we do this? Do you know?
So these are actually the perfect glasses for red wine. The whole point being, you get a lot of white wine glasses, which are a lot narrower.
Okay.
Okay. The point being that when you swirl it like this, you're opening up the nose of the wine. So the whole point is then you put it in, because sometimes you can have a very the nose is one thing, and on the palate it's different. Okay. You can have a lovely floral nose, but then when you actually taste on the palate, it's not floral at all.
Similar to what you have in the cigars.
Exactly.
Very light. Yeah. It's like watered down wine. I don't know if this is your wine, I'm sorry man, but it's very, it's lacking tannins and body. It's lacking body. Which is not a bad thing, is that's what you like, I guess, but an easy drinker. I can drink a bottle of this really easy.
Interesting.
You don't want to tell me, yeah?
I'm not going to tell you after.
You don't want to tell me, yeah?
I'm going to tell you after.
We normally drink and smoke, but we're always busy talking about life and business and stuff. We've never done this.
No.
We never. I mean, you told me about your wines and the story, and I'll tell you about my cigars, and we do pair them, but we've never done this. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I think I know about wine a bit.
Yeah.
But I might be very wrong. I might be very wrong after today. I could drink this with a meal, maybe maybe like fish. I wouldn't drink this with meat. I don't think it would be strong enough.
I wouldn't pair it with fish, personally.
No?
A lot of the time you wouldn't pair red wine. Tend to pair red wine with fish. Depends also what fish you're eating, but fish has got quite a mild flavor profile. So anything you're gonna, if you drink something like that, even a light red wine is gonna
you're right,
overpower kind of the flavor of the fish. And also when you talk from an acidity level, sometimes you want that kind of high acidity in a white wine, because the acidity in a white wine
helps with the fish.
Right, helps with the fish, but to act, not when I say acidity, I'm not talking about like that cheap alcohol taste.
Okay.
Acidity, when you talk about wine, is like that citrusy, zesty kind of thing in wine. So it's supposed to act as if like you're squeezing like a lemon on fish. You know, like you put a lemon on your fish.
Pairing,
exactly. So that's it. So when you got those zesty kind of citrusy white wines, they pair perfectly with a nice kind of fillet of fish that you would put a lemon on.
Yes.
You know, or even like a piece of salmon which got. It was like quite an oily fish, and you want that citrus to kind of cut through and balance out the oiliness from the fish. Then you pair out with like a citrusy kind of.
So what would be nice to pair with it?
This, because it's quite light, it's not, it's not too overpowering. It's not heavy, like you said. It's gentle on the tannins. It hasn't got too much body to it. So something like this you could even pair this with some like a light pasta dish.
All right,
you could just something, but nothing too heavy that's overpowering. You could even go as far as like a spaghetti pomodoro, even like a pasta salad, cold cut salamis maybe.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
A couple of light cheeses.
That'd be nice.
Some light cheeses
I see
with
that
this,
work. Yeah, you're right. I see it work.
Nothing too heavy. I've got a nice bit of pecorino with us today. We've got a nice cheese board down here. We'd like to have some cheese with red wine. So it's not bad. It's good.
It's not a bad wine. I hope this is not yours, yeah?
Well, we'll find out.
The reason why I say hope it's not yours is because I don't think I'll pay too much for this.
Which is fun, as we were saying before.
So I'm right. This is the cheap one, yeah? Let me try the other one. Let me try that one.
But everything has its place.
Of course. Like I said, I would be fine drinking this after work, a glass in the night or something.
I got the bottles with me behind.
But with the cigar, it's not too bad. But I think it's missing body with this cigar.
Yeah, so you have a lighter red wine with a full body cigar here. Those two are probably not the best pairing. We were talking in the last one saying about the
because I'm losing all the flavors.
Columbus Azul.
Yes.
That could pair quite well with this.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anyway, how's your week been?
Busy. It's been a funny month, October, sometimes,
Yeah.
It's very up and down, up and down. So, one day you can be packed, the next day it's just an average day. Then after that, it's packed again. The weekend comes, slammed, and then each weekend is different. So there was a marathon on in Cardiff the other weekend, which I that.
Does it help when you get events and stuff in Cardiff? Or
yeah, I feel Cardiff is so event driven.
Well, you got the uni.
Yeah.
So it's like very seasonal. So it's like either uni or events.
What annoys me sometimes about Cardiff is that they plug all these events and do it on the same day. Like sometimes you got
a concert
on, then you got a football match or rugby match going on at the same time, and then the theatre put on a show. You know, because my restaurant is Cardiff City Centre, and I'm right around the corner from the theatre. So whenever the theatre have a show on, it's amazing. Like. It's good for business, very good. Cardiff New Theatre, if you're watching, put more shows on.
But how did they go with the marathon? Because everything was closed.
Oh my God. I think people have also the intention to go to Italian places for...
carb reload, yeah?
Exactly. The night before the marathon, they want to load up on carbs.
Oh, even from the night before, yeah?
Oh, the Saturday, because the marathon was on the Sunday.
Yes.
And Sunday I close. It was just a busy week. It was a long weekend on the Saturday. Oh my God. Crazy. It's only like a 35, 40-seater restaurant, and I already had 120 people booked.
I don't know how you do it, man.
Booked, so you're talking flipping tables and turning over fast if you can. And then the people just walking in the door. The door was just But my father's back at the minute, so...
Oh, so that's it.
No, it was good.
He keeps people entertained as well. He's normally outside in the front talking to people.
He's a showman, mate. He's a good front man.
Let's try the next wine.
Okay, so you mentioned it was darker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot darker, man. Cigar is very nice. The construction is good. It's a really nice cigar. Joya de Nicaragua makes some amazing cigars, man.
Yeah.
We got this one on the website. We got another one. We got about three different Joya de Nicaraguas. This is more for, I wouldn't say for a beginner cigar. This is for somebody who already smokes some cigars. So Obras Maestras, I do know. So at the back we have Obras Maestras, which is basically labors from the masters. So this line of cigars that have the Obras Maestra label on them are basically some of the top quality cigars from the brand. So what are we looking at here then? Again, we're opening
a lot darker. I mean, I think you can instantly tell that it's going to be something a bit more full-bodied.
Yeah, the nose.
A lot more.
Yeah, again, that one, nothing wrong with it, but it just felt like it was watered down. This one has a lot of
more
tannins,
more characteristics going on in here. It's a bit more of a complex wine.
Yes.
There's dark berries in here.
Yep. I think once we try this and the cigar is going to go...
Yeah, this one is going to pair very well with the cigar, I think.
Yeah. Much body, flavor, bit of... like a plum?
Mm-hmm.
Like a plum note, yeah?
Dark berries, plum. Mm.
This one you feel your tongue a bit dry.
A little bit of notes of almost like balsamic.
Mm-hmm.
You get that kind of deep, dark, kind of balanced acidity. It's not, but what you expect with a full body wine. There's gonna be acidity to it.
But it's not uncomfortable.
Definitely a food wine. You would like a nice roasted bit of beef, lamb.
Yes, lamb would be nice.
You could even go with something a little bit gamey with that.
Try lighting it from the side.
Yeah, I know it's side in it.
Yeah. So that way you don't get, because we're using a jet lighter. When you relight it from the front, the power of it will start pushing some of those impurities on the ash
down the cigar,
into the cigar. As a demonstration, you tap as much as the ash as you can, and then what I like to do is just go around it bit by bit, and then you relight it that way. Yeah. But you done it properly. I'm just, how's the cigar now?
It's actually more enjoyable.
Yes, because that was like dull in the cigar. Yeah. Now there's flavors, but it's a very clean cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like any hard notes or anything.
Yeah. All right, so what's the verdict? What would you pay for that one? What would you pay for that one? If you were to go to a restaurant.
And the restaurant is different. I think it's a bit harder for me to say.
All right, let's go with online. If you buy wine and you...
Let's say I normally buy wine like a Little Merchants or something, yeah? Mm-hmm. So I would pay for this one around £30, 30 to £40 maybe.
In a restaurant?
No.
Online?
Online, yeah. Like 35 max, yeah, on this one maybe. But that one, I don't know, man, that's I don't know, £7-8 maybe.
You're not too far off with the price. So shops and online is going to be one price, obviously. Restaurants are going to have to charge another price. Having a restaurant, I can tell you that we have a lot of expenses. People don't realize this when they go to a restaurant. Sometimes they look at the price and they how much they charge for that. But you have to take into consideration what we spend on gas, electric, staff to start with. Prep the food, cook the food, serve the food. But then you've got your wear and tear. So like your glasses. I mean, every day you get glasses break, plates break, cutlery, the tables, the rent that we pay, the rates, the business rates just to be there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be the same with cigars. You are not going to buy 100 pallets like Tesco will. So the price that will come to you will be the same price. So
it's another thing I'll go on to when I talk about the supermarket wine. So the first wine that we tried was actually...
I wasn't wrong.
Yes. Depends on well you're going to be able to see that now. It's Trivento Argentina. It's actually a Malbec, which Malbec is usually a bit more of a medium body.
Yeah.
This was actually very light.
Very light.
Very light. You mentioned about the colour. Let me show you the other wine first, and then we'll go into the difference. The other wine is available on sabdawine.com. Yes. Okay.
That's his website. That's his business.
We call it Terresici, which is actually a Barbera Sarda, which is a Sardinian Barbera. So you usually...
What's that, the grape, yeah?
The grape is called Barbera. Barbera is like a Barbera d'Albi. Mm-hmm. You usually get it in the Piedmont region in Italy. But this one is a Sardinian Barbera, so it's not actually technically genetically related to the Barbera, to the original Barbera. It's just a different grape, but it's called the Sardinian Barbera. Obviously grown in, this one is grown in Sardinia. I was saying on the last podcast that the cantina which I import the wines from is called Dolianova. And Dolianova is about 20 minutes away from Cagliari, which is the capital of Sardinia. Barbera is great on its own, but it can be blended because it has a lot of body to it. It's not a light grape by any means. You mentioned the color. Now, when you see those kind of light colors like that, almost like a transparency.
Yeah.
To it.
It looked like he had water put on, like...
Yeah, so the thing is, with colours like that, when you're talking about wine, a lot of the time, it tends to mean that it's a young wine.
All right.
Right, it hasn't fully
developed. Less time in the barrel.
Yeah, exactly, so it's a young wine. The funny thing is, the interesting thing, that this bottle here actually says Riserva. But a wine that is a Riserva means that it's somewhat been aged. I think by law it has to be aged for a minimum of 2 years, French oak, but I can't. Maybe I'm wrong there because it can't because they would be selling it otherwise.
So it spent 6 months.
Yeah.
In French and American oak.
So which is why they're giving it the name as a Riserva. But then the year on it,
23,
is 2023, and also being a 2023, the ABV, the alcohol, is 13.5%. It doesn't taste like a 13.5%.
No.
And there's also another thing to mention there. When something is a screw cap, that means that the grape doesn't necessarily get bad. You find it a lot with Merlot, for example, because Merlot is designed to be a younger grape. It doesn't necessarily age gracefully or age well. So therefore, what happens with the screw cap? It will completely cut the aging process.
Okay.
Whilst when you get corks, the quality of the cork plays a part because it will determine how much oxygen is allowed into the wine. Mm-hmm. Because when you get corks, when you get a wine that's corked, it's because it's too much oxygen gone through and has made the wine go bad. Now you do get different types of corks. You get your kind of what's the name? It's like a plastic cork.
Yeah.
Almost. Those kind of
man-made
things.
cork.
Yeah, I've come across wines which have kind of got plastic biological. Mm-hmm. Kind of the biological wines supposedly, and they have this type of cork which. It's just technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the old school traditional one is like tree bark, essentially, is what the corks are. And it allows a very, very, very slow amount of oxygen over time, basically. Which is why you get the wine or the grapes which are aged in barrels, and then on top of that, then the aged in the bottles.
Yeah, because I'm guessing then if the cork allows it to breathe, is like being in the barrel. Because in the barrel it still breathes, right? In a
way. So if you were to buy wine or buy from a cantina or from a vineyard or something, really you want to look at how many bottles do they produce.
Okay.
Right? Because there is a sweet spot. If they produce too little, you can think, well, they're probably quite a new vineyard, which means the wine might not necessarily be great.
Okay.
It's still starting, because supposedly if you open a vineyard, you know, it's going to take 10 years before you start kind of making anything decent, because there's a lot to learn in the process.
The plants gotta grow. And...
Exactly, and you know, it takes a long time to grow. You know, do you know what I mean? You plant it the year before, you grow it, you season it. You got to learn when to pick it. Yeah. You know, because weather changes, the climate changes, so then you got to be on top of what's happening with the weather and things. So then you think, well, it might be better if I pick it this week, if it's coming to that kind of point where you need to know when to pick it, the grapes. So then, because next week is going to be bad, which means it's going to ruin the grapes maybe, which is going to change the flavour profile. So there's a lot of experience, I suppose, which you need when it comes to having a vineyard and whatnot. So year can be very important as well. With the supermarket wines, the point being is that now if I had a contract, let's say I was a producer of wine. If Tesco come to me and say, I want to buy your wine, but I want to buy X amount of bottles because you have to sell that wine in all the Tesco's across the UK. So you have to be able to produce X amount of bottles. Of course. Which at that point, when I was saying about the sweet spot, if you produce too little, you're still learning probably. Yeah. If you're producing too much, you know that a lot of them are mass produced, and the problem with being mass produced is that then a lot of shit is going to go into the wine, because you're talking about preservatives and all these chemicals going into the wine, which is why a lot of people you're probably going to get headaches and you're not going to feel so great after you sink a bottle or two of wine, and you know that's probably why there's a lot of
because that is something that I found out myself. Good wine shouldn't give you a headache. No,
I know.
No, as cheap wine does.
I have that conversation with people that, in theory, no, but I mean, if you drink 3 bottles, then you're gonna get a headache.
No, of course not.
So that's what you're gonna get with kind of the supermarket mass-produced wine, which then the screw cap going on there is just, it gets bottled, screw cap, that's it. Yeah. The wine is that, which there's a lot more acidity to it, but like I said, a lot of it is to do with the chemicals in the wine, not the actual grape. I mean, I've drunk some fantastic Malbecs, man. Yeah. Great Malbecs. Yeah. Malbec's a fantastic grape in general, to be fair. So this one then, going on to Sardinia Barbera, but this is a 2019, you see?
So that could be a reserve.
Well, it's not, because it's not aged in
but at least it's got age.
But that's what I'm saying, but a good red wine should have a couple of years to it, for me. But this is going on to more like the Barolo, the Amarone, if you're into those kind of full bodies. Which to be that kind of a powerful grape, you're not going to get one of those which is done the year before or bottled the year before. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I said, these guys have to move very quick, because they have hundreds of thousands of bottles they need to produce and ship all over the UK.
Well, I'm sure they probably do a couple of countries.
So in terms of price, the Malbec I picked up, it was about £9.
Okay, so I was like 8, 9.
I am right.
But like I said, everything has its place and there's a market for it. You could put that as if I was to sell it in a restaurant, you could put that as like a house wine.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. I thought the house wine was maybe like you bring your own wines, yeah? So I thought the house wine would be your wine. That's what I thought before. Then I realized no, it can't, because not all of the restaurants got their own wineries. So explain a little bit about the house wine.
A lot of the time, you can tell a good restaurant by the quality of their house wine. Okay. Right? Some restaurateurs take it as, just give me the cheapest shit, it's the cheapest wine, but I want everyone else to buy the other wine, not the house wine, but it's also maybe the wine that you make the most profit on. Now the house wine is basically just, for me, it should be on the cheaper end, it should be the cheaper wine on the wine list, but it should be very light, pleasant and easy to drink. Okay. It's supposed to be a table wine, which is just easy to enjoy a couple of glasses with a meal. So like a lunchtime wine. Okay. That, for me, that's what a house wine should be.
So like easy to go, like somebody who doesn't know about wine,
like
but the wine
in Venezuela it might be the same, but in Italy it's just table wine. You know, wine on the table. There's not full body. It's not overpowering. Yeah, it's just nice and pleasant and easy to drink. That's what a good.
So instead of having Coke, you have wine. That's the kind of wine.
Yeah, because the culture is where you have a glass of wine with food.
At home, I mean.
That's the idea. That's what a good house wine should be. I mean, you could have screw caps for house wine in a restaurant. So in Cardiff, like every location, every city has different price structure. But let's say in Cardiff, so an average bottle of house wine is nowadays about £20, £25. Now the rule of thumb in every restaurant they will mark up a wine roughly around 3.5 times whatever it cost them.
It's not that bad though when you factor in all the...
Well, no, the idea, so it costs you £10, they'll charge £35. And that's not to mean like, oh my God, you're making £25.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because you don't, like I said, as you were saying earlier about the cost.
Yeah, but how much 60? Is a kilo of pasta?
Well, I say in my restaurant, we make handmade fresh pasta.
Yeah, I know.
To start with, because that for me, that just takes us to a different level. Everyone can buy pasta.
That's why I love eating in his place. It's
we make
different. When you eat handmade pasta, it's different to store-bought pasta.
But you know, so my father prefers dried pasta. He's not a big fan of the fresh pasta, but for me, it's a game changer. In terms of your own kind of identity, authenticity, flavor to the pasta.
I feel that when it's fresh pasta,
it is different.
The actual pasta absorbs the flavor of the food, so it has taste.
Well, there's a lot more moisture in it.
So moist.
There's a lot more humidity to the pasta. If you think, it's the same process. Basically, pasta is pasta. Yeah. The difference with dried pasta has been hung to dry, which means the humidity and the moisture has been taken out of it. With dried pasta, you can get the pasta a lot more what you call al dente.
Okay.
Al dente means to the bite, which means there's a bit of a bite to it. Fresh pasta is a bit hard because there's a lot more density or moisture to the pasta.
Fresh as well.
It's fresh pasta. With a restaurant, the markup, like I said, there's so many costs and expenses involved. Like, I'm not going to state the exact numbers in terms of what it costs me to be there.
I mean, I have a business myself just on labor.
Yeah.
Paying staff. That's
100%. I will give a rough estimate in terms of, you know, for me, when we're talking about Cardiff, we're not talking about London or Bath or whatever. We're talking about Cardiff. I mean, per month, for me to just be there with my staff, the lights on, the gas, the rent, the rates, everything, it costs me the average wage in a year.
Wow.
Of what the normal person would be working in a year.
Minimum wage.
I mean, it cost me that per month to be there. Just to be there.
That's before you bought any stock.
Exactly.
Before you paid
100%.
any staff.
That's before I even bought stock. So you have to make sure that you turn that over and make profit. Now, like I said, so where you mark up 3.5, 4 times maybe on a wine, that doesn't mean that I'm pocketing 25, 30 quid a bottle per wine because my expenses are so high.
I think it's acceptable. You know, you're going to eat at a place where one, they're going to cook food that you probably don't cook at home. I don't know. I love pasta, but I don't know how to make fresh pasta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the point. I think every restaurant should do something that you can't really do at home.
Exactly. The other thing is you get the service, you get the ambiance, you get the moment, the experience. I think the experience is a lot. I mean, I've been to places in London where just a shot of whiskey is like £150. Yeah, just because you're drinking it in that place. Okay, it's a good whiskey.
I bet you get a lovely ice cube with a stamp.
With a stamp on it.
That's what you're paying for, you know.
I drink neat, so
we probably think different because the culture difference as well. I don't know in Venezuela or even Portugal or where, you know, I imagine in Portugal, yes. But in Italy, it's very much like, it seems like everyone in Italy, nobody has any money. Yet they're in restaurants every day. Do you know what I mean?
In Portugal,
or a pizzeria, or they're out in a restaurant having a plate of pasta somewhere, you know, they pay €10 with it. The coffee culture here makes me laugh though.
Yeah.
You go to Italy and you ask for a cappuccino.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like, what?
Yeah, well, they shout.
What?
They don't like that. Unless they're very like... exactly, right? But it's the culture around everything is, in the UK and America, everything is bigger and better. But a cappuccino is one size. It's a third espresso, a third milk, and a third froth. That's a cappuccino. That's it.
That's the original cappuccino.
That's what a cappuccino is. And they're small.
Yeah, no, you get the big mugs.
Buy it down, that's what I'm saying.
Why do you want to drink so much
start with an American thing, you know? Everything is bigger and better, and I want everything huge. But it doesn't exist. You go to it, you ask for a cappuccino, it's one size.
Yeah.
You know, same with espresso. And also you go and ask for a coffee in Italy. So I'll have a coffee. They don't ask what coffee, straight away, boom, espresso.
Yeah.
It's just, unless you specifically ask, no, I want a cappuccino.
Yeah.
Americano is not even a thing.
It's not even a thing.
So don't even ask for Americano in, if you ask
Why you want to put water in this?
No, it's basically what they do. They give you an espresso and then they give you a small jug of hot water on the side. Yeah. And then you do it.
You do your thing.
Yeah, you do it basically.
You want to ruin it.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing. A latte is not a thing.
Yeah.
It's cappuccino.
But it's different. We were talking about this in the last podcast. It's also, one, the culture. 2, what the palate is used to.
You drink teas?
I drink tea sometimes. Like once in a blue moon.
Is that a thing?
Where?
Portugal.
Oh, no. Like, I thought I drink tea. I drink tea sometimes. But it's like loose tea leaf.
Do you also wear a dress?
What?
You drink tea? You wear a dress.
And I don't have an OnlyFans.
How many coffees a day do you drink?
Well, I drink...
You drink just espresso?
Yeah, man. Espressos are my thing. Or now, actually, no. Now I've gone into more of a specialty coffee. And because cigars take so long, you end up... I was drinking like 2-3 espressos with a cigar. Very short amount of...
That's my fuel, man.
Yeah, man.
No
so
sleep, nicotine and coffee.
Yeah, it's too much. I got into single origin coffees.
Okay.
That also, the reason why I'm doing it is to help me with the palate and learning about flavors and profiles and stuff. The ones that I enjoy the most are espressos. I go to a restaurant, what do I ask?
Give me an espresso.
Espresso, yeah. But like I said, you come in and you say, can I have a coffee? Yeah, but they don't ask you espresso. Pump. If anything, just to confirm, to see what type of person you are. I said,
Michele is like, single or double? That's what
basically, yeah.
Single or double?
But it's more just to confirm what kind of person you are. What, coffee, espresso? Yes. Okay, fine. You're fine. You know your friend or family if you ask for espresso. Otherwise, you turn around and say, no, cappuccino. He's going,
foreigner. You bloody foreigner.
He's all right. He's learning. He's learning. The idea of a cappuccino, because it's with milk. At the end of the day, milk you have in the morning, like breakfast. You enjoy a nice cappuccino with a cornetto.
Yes.
Or a croissant or pastry or something like that. I mean, I don't eat breakfast anyway, but that's the idea behind the cappuccino. And then after the morning, that's it. At most, maybe a macchiato, espresso macchiato, which is like an espresso but with a little bit of froth.
Yeah, which is nice.
Oh,
it's nice.
Very nice. But otherwise, just espresso, cafe.
I think it comes because of the country we come from, cultures and traditions. Here, I think it goes a lot back to food and the palate that they have.
Yeah.
The only spicy food and the only really flavorful food that you have here in the UK that has gone back hundreds of years is Indian food.
What's the hottest curry in the UK?
I think it's Madras or something like that. I don't know.
No, I thought it was like a Vindaloo or something.
Or something. I don't know.
It's something like that. But apparently, if you go to India and you ask for Vindaloo, it's not even that hot. And you get it a lot with Italian dishes as well. It's Italian cuisine adapted to the British palate.
Same with the Chinese cuisine.
Yeah.
I've been to China and I
nothing
like nothing like it.
I bet.
You know these noodles and stuff that we bought? Yeah. Nothing like that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of videos which I do, I talk about the carbonara. So a classic carbonara is done with egg, a bit of pecorino, some black pepper, and that's the mix. You do with a bit of the pasta water, and that's how you make the cream for the carbonara. There is no cream. But the British palate have a very saucy, wet palate.
Yeah.
And they love cream with it. Cream goes with everything.
Yeah.
With everything. So the carbonara became they started adding cream to the mix as well. And then slowly the egg goes and it's just cream. In the menu in the restaurant, I actually do, because I've tried to change it before. And everybody prefers the one with cream. Or British people.
Really?
Yeah. Like you can't change it. I don't even call it carbonara. I call it carbonara sbagliata. Which means a mistaken carbonara.
Okay.
So I'm not even calling it carbonara. And if you go in Italian or someone wants a proper carbonara, we do proper carbonara. Otherwise, I call it carbonara sbagliata, and it's with cream. Now, I tell you where it started from, right? There's a Roman dish, which is called Alfredo. Yeah? Fettuccine Alfredo. Which is basically, when you're making pasta, at the end of it, with pasta water and parmesan, you do something which is called like mantecare.
Okay.
Which means like to
cream up or something.
Basically to make creamy. But when you take that concept and you put it into America, where everything is faster, everything is saucier, the same as the UK, everything is saucier, everything is wetter, it's easier to just use cream. So you take that concept, the dish which was the Alfredo or the carbonara, because it's like there's a bit of technical skill to it to make the cream. Otherwise you end up making scrambled egg.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of people make a mistake with carbonara and they make scrambled egg. What you got to make a cream, which just means not taking the dish past a certain temperature, because otherwise the egg is going to cook. You're just slowly heating it, and you have to do this process called mantecare with the pasta. Take that concept and you put it in the UK or America, who are not maybe skilled at doing that. I mean, the French can do it very well, no doubt, but the Italians in those kind of cuisines, they do it. Just easier to just get a bottle of cream and like that, and it's cream. You reduce it a little bit, goes thick, goes tight, and that's that. But then people become adapted to that, so that's their palate now.
That's what they used to now.
Exactly, and in the end, everyone likes meat or fish in their pasta as well, so they add chicken. And then in a lot of places, you add mushrooms. And then in the UK, chicken Alfredo, pasta with chicken, cream and mushroom, or chicken and cream, and they call it Alfredo. But that's not even the dish.
That's a different dish.
It's completely different. There's fettuccine or tagliatelle or whatever you want to use. Butter, pasta water, parmesan. That's it.
Yeah, the pasta water is...
There's no cream, no chicken, no mushroom. But it's the UK and America which made it what it is. So going back to the point, it's like the Indian food and everything. It's like everything is that cuisine, so Italian cuisine or Indian cuisine, tailored to the British palate. But yet they go to Italy or they go to wherever and they can't get over how amazing the food is. But then the minute they put foot back on UK soil or American soil, they want that.
They want that. Talking about the wine. The price, why is it so expensive? Maybe they don't understand the flavor profile and stuff, but also that does what it needs to do. It gives you that wine taste and gets you drunk.
Yeah.
It serves the market.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think you come home and drink a bottle of wine every day and you're gonna spend £30. It's like a cigar. You won't spend £30 every day. You
don't have to spend £30 on that. Do you know what I mean? That's my whole thing of what I want to do is to show people the finer things. Like you said about the cigars.
Yeah.
You don't have to smoke every day. Like you could buy a nice bottle of wine. I could have a glass or so now. I could keep it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe even the day after, and it would probably still be good depending on the wine. But you don't have to spend £30 a day. You don't have to do a bottle of wine a day. But I suppose the culture down here is you drink or you don't drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There is no in between. There's like the drinking culture down here is I don't drink, get to the weekend, bum.
Catch up.
I just missed 6 days. I'm going to get bollocks tonight. And they go through 3 bottles of wine and then you spend a few £100 in on just on alcohol. You know, the culture is very, very different.
It's different. Again, like you said, even in Venezuela, when you have wine at the table, you have a glass of wine with your food. Maybe 2 glasses and that's it. You just, instead of having water or Coke, you will have a glass of wine.
But I said the culture is you drink for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Not to get drunk.
I think a lot with our cultures, and again, it's nothing wrong. I've been here since I was 10. You were born here. Your mom is.
I was born here. My mother as well. So
your mom as well. So don't get us wrong. It's not like we're.
No. I feel like I can slate the UK because I'm half Welsh.
Yeah, but we don't have to. It's just that we're trying to, because we have different backgrounds. We're trying to tell you what it's like being there. And then why, like you said, when you go to Italy and Portugal, food is better, wine is better, things are better.
Yeah. I just want people to enjoy the finer things, but within moderation.
Yeah, just because it's finer doesn't mean that it's expensive.
Exactly.
Because what you have to look for when you're either drinking, eating, or even smoking is flavor. Yes. And I think all of that has to do, like I said earlier, is your palate. Because the British cuisine is very bland, very plain, very simple.
Very.
Yeah, there's no spices, there's no... and at the moment, unfortunately, I don't blame it so much in the scene. I blame it more into, like, we don't have time. There's a lot of, like, oven-cooked food.
Yeah.
Already made meals, or you get a takeaway. So if you want to get into enjoying a little bit, you don't have to do it every day or every week. But whenever you're going to do something, you should try and look for flavor, for quality.
You used to do it in the old days.
Yeah.
In the old days in the UK, everything was a home-cooked meal. It's only now, as the generations get on and the time goes on, the world moves.
But a lot of people don't know how to cook nowadays. A lot of my friends and the wives and even the mothers, they know how to cook a couple of things, but they don't know how to cook proper meals or different meals. Like one of the things that I was very, very surprised was the Sunday roast is a very traditional meal and they cook it very often. It's not like, for example, in Venezuela, we make something called hallacas. It's a Christmas dish. Mm-hmm. You only make it for Christmas. So not everybody knows how to cook it because you only make it once a year. It's a very laborious job.
But I bet it's a family thing, right?
It's a family thing.
All the family comes together, they all
so
help
eventually
each other.
We learn.
Maybe the nonna or the
it goes like grandmother, mother,
and they start
join.
And you learn it from your mother or grandmother, and it goes like that. It's a family thing.
Exactly.
You do together.
But then we have dishes where, like, I know how to cook all the Venezuelan dishes. My wife is Colombian, she knows how to cook all her Colombian dishes. And we were brought up here. Yeah.
Well,
again, dishes like the hallacas, which is a Christmas dish. I know how to cook it. I wouldn't say, let's come, I'll do it. Yeah,
I'll mention something.
I'll have to Google it. Google it probably.
I'll mention something. And this could take you down a rabbit hole or spiral down a whole different conversation at that point. But that's because we're talking about tradition. UK and America, or say the Western world, no longer has tradition. Yeah. There is no such thing as tradition.
Unfortunately.
There's no such thing as a traditional household anymore. A traditional relationship, family. There's nothing traditional about Britain anymore.
But I think we're in a stage at the moment where
Venezuela, Portugal, Italy,
they're still
traditional, and they still got. Don't get me wrong, it's changing.
Yeah.
Even there, it's changing. Yeah. But they still got tradition.
Yeah. I've noticed that the newer generation, I think because they're growing up with social media, AI, computers, everything is very generated, very commercialized. They're going for example, in fashion. Yeah. There's a lot of younger generations, like like early 20s, who will go and buy from a tailor, who will go and buy clothes from a small shop that are making trousers by hand. Yeah, those are coming up. And I noticed that they've also started experimenting with like cigars, trying finer things, learning about palettes, trying different foods. Yep. Like in London, for example, you go to London, there's thousands of different cuisines there. And when you go in, the majority are young people because they are understanding all of these dishes and learning about foods and drinks and stuff like that, which I think is nice. I think is reverting back. Also, a lot of my friends and their siblings and stuff are trying to get more into like the family tradition, trying to build. The thing is a lot harder because the UK have lost it for a long time. So it's kind of difficult to get something that hasn't been there as much.
Well, there used to be like that old-fashioned English tradition, you know.
But why?
They used to, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know if they're ever going to. Not the way everything is going now. I don't think they can. Only in the UK and America, it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
It's frowned upon to be traditional. Yeah. It's almost like I've got two cultures. I was born and grown in the UK. My mother's Welsh, but obviously grown up in an Italian manner and with Italian family as well. And I've seen growing up, like I could touch in and out. Do you know what I mean? I could grow up on the streets of Cardiff, but at the same time at home, it's very much like Italian influence, you know. So
similar to me.
Exactly is what I'm saying. So it's like we've seen and grown up with two different cultures.
And it's hard.
British people, you know, like when you're poor, you think everyone's poor. When you're rich, you think everyone's rich. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when you've only seen that culture and tradition or lack of tradition, you think that everyone is the same, and that's just what life is. But then you take someone like people like us who've grown up with both, you can actually see what's missing or advantages here, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's very much like there is whether they get it back in the UK or not, I don't know. Which then you can make the argument if you want to go down the political route whether Nigel Farage should come back in because he's that old school trying to traditional make Britain great again. It's like the British version of Trump, really, isn't he? But if that's going to be beneficial or not, the direction in which the Western society and the UK and America is going, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make you think it's better or worse. But there is a lack of tradition.
I think with the younger generation as well, it's like a lot of people have traveled. And now with social media, you get to see what other cultures are doing. Yeah. And then you understand more and then you are able to decide, like you're able to decide, do I like the way that we are here, the way that I am? Do I want to have my family this way or that way? Because I like the reason I mention is I got a lot of friends that are like, oh, dude, how you know this, and asking. They want to know how things work abroad because it calls. I think it's nature. As humans, we like. It's not so much the tradition as such, but we like belonging. Belonging.
Yeah.
And we like that family, and we like that the community part and stuff. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not that the British people don't have the family orientation and stuff, but it's less, much less than what we have abroad, even in Europe.
You're taught very different down here, though, in the UK, you know? Yeah, you're taught to be different. You're taught to not follow tradition.
But it's weird. Like, my kids, they were both born here. Now, one is 6, one is 10. The 6-year-old still doesn't understand much. But the older one, when you ask him, so you were born here, you're British, grew up here, you go to school, your friends, everybody, like, you're British. And he's like, yeah, but I don't feel British.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel British.
Well, no, you know,
because I wasn't born here.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Although it's a bit weird.
Yeah, you still have memories of a lifestyle and childhood in Venezuela, your mother tongue, your first language.
Come on, man. I came here when I was 10. I grew up here. My friends were here. I went to school here. Everything was here.
Yeah.
But I don't feel British.
Yeah.
And I think it's to do with the culture. Now, my son, obviously, we are second generation immigrants. So our parents were the ones that migrated here and stuff. So we are a lot more British than our parents would be, for example, yeah? So in our household, we are Latinos, but we're also a bit British.
Yeah.
We speak Spanglish, for example.
Spanglish.
Yeah. So it's,
well, we do that in Italian now, even with my dad. The odd word comes out. You're speaking Italian, but the odd word is English.
It's much easier.
Yes, it's funny, I know.
I don't understand it. Maybe because we were brought up here, but the English language sometimes comes easier.
There are a lot of, like in Italian, for example, there are a lot of words which you use which are British, which are English words. A word which you would say in Italian a lot of the time is an English word, but it's just adopted that name.
Anyway, let's go back to the wine.
Yes.
And the restaurant. So you will charge around £30 for a bottle like that.
If I was to class that as house wine, £20-25 we're talking about in Cardiff.
Okay.
In London, I know for a fact the house wine is £30-35.
Okay.
You don't get anything cheaper than that for a house wine in London. Well, we're in Cardiff, Wales, so things are cheaper.
But my question now is, how much is your wine in your restaurant then?
So something like this, if you're looking more towards the Barolo, the Amarone, I mean, Barolo, for example, is always going to be about at least minimum 45-50 quid a bottle in a restaurant. This one also goes for about the same price as Barolo, so it's about £45 in a restaurant.
But online?
Online, we try to do it around the case price, which it all comes to is about 25 quid, £25, something like that.
Can I bring wine into your restaurant? I'll buy it online.
Some restaurants you can, but my restaurant you can't.
The Indian restaurants, a lot of them let you bring your own wine because they don't sell alcohol.
Exactly. They don't sell it, so you bring what you want. I mean, if I go to a restaurant, if I'm going to pay 20-something pounds for a bottle, I know it's going to be all right, but there's a possibility that it might not be. You know, I mean, if you're looking more towards the 30, 40, like I expect it should be a good bottle of wine, you know. In Cardiff. But it should be a good bottle. If I'm paying £30-35 a bottle of wine, it should be a good bottle of wine.
How's your cigar, man?
It's actually better. The second half is even better. Yeah, it's better than the first half.
Yeah, it's got a bit more strength to it. This one is aged. It has tobacco fillers, grade 8 fillers, aged in vintage white oak barrels. That's why I thought with wine, this is going to work.
Yeah.
And we have woody notes and sweet flavors with a velvet finish. I get the velvet finish.
There is something velvety about it.
Yeah, there's something elegant at the end.
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't have noticed that at the first half.
But now.
Now is I'm getting it.
Now it's now. Pairing cigars with wine works well.
Yes.
When you have a good wine with it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just whiskey and rum, you know.
I got asked before, is that the only thing you can pair it with? Coffee, spirits, and rums, whiskeys and stuff. It is the easiest to pair with. They go really well because normally they have sweet notes, woody notes.
It depends on the cigar, man.
I know, but it's
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Bet.
You know your Columbus Azul?
Yes. That goes really nice with wine. Oh no, the Azul, sorry, no, the Negro. The Negro goes really nice with wine.
The Azul. I've had it with a protein shake, man.
What? Oh, you're a psycho, man.
I've had it with
that's the British side of you, yeah?
Vanilla protein shake, fucking great.
That's the British side of you, yeah?
Must have been after a gym session. I said I fancy sitting in the garden, nice cigar.
And how was it?
Banging.
Have a cigar with Red Bull.
Red Bull?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've saw it online. Again, you try things, which is something that a lot of people are scared to do. I want to try this. It might not work. They said only with wine. They said only with whiskey. Just try.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You just stop drinking that and then start drinking something else or just sparkling water.
Yeah.
Cigars.
Well, I've had cigars just on its own. I mean, you don't have to pair it.
If you want to keep it just if you want to enjoy the cigar, If what you're doing is reviewing the cigar or just you want to enjoy the cigar, sparkling water. Because the sparkling water cleans your palate. So every time you drink water, it cleans your palate. You have another draw, then you taste all the cigar. It's amazing. But don't be scared. Red Bull, coffee, whatever you want, just try it. Tea. The azul goes well with tea.
You have to wear a dress though.
I drink like Chinese tea.
Red dress or blue dress?
You know the Chinese dress.
You cross your legs when you sit down as well?
Yeah. Wine for cooking. You just buy the cheapest crappy wine for cooking, or do you still buy something nice to cook with?
Yeah, two things. Depends on what you're cooking. Two, my general rule of thumb is if you don't drink it, don't cook with it. Also a rule of thumb, I mean, if I was going to go to a supermarket, I would not spend less than £10 on a bottle of wine. But, I mean, it can be hit and miss with supermarket wine sometimes, you know. I've never had a fantastic one where I've gone, oh my God, that is a great wine. Never had one of those in a supermarket. If I was to make like a nice ragu or bolognese or something, I would want to use something with a bit more body on that deep.
Too light for that.
Flavor. It's a bit too light for that.
Too light for that. Talking about the price in the supermarket, in Europe, like Portugal and stuff, you buy some good bottles, cheap.
It's not the wine that costs the money. It's the taxation.
The tax.
Cigar tax.
Oh, the duty on it is crazy, man. It's like for this size cigar, for this weight, because it's per weight, I'm talking about £8-9
Per cigar.
Just the duty. Then you have to pay the VAT. Then you have to pay all the other taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
Import taxes.
When you're paying £20 a cigar,
you're really paying £10 for the cigar.
Basically, it's the same thing with wine. Yeah. Same thing with wine.
So that's the problem, because if you're buying, I don't know what the duty is on wine, but if you're buying a £5 wine, like, is it really wine? Because how much is the wine, like the real wine, got to cost? Because when you put the duty and stuff.
Well, the duty is about £3.50 per bottle. And that's it. You're talking up to 15%. After 15%, there's even more. Even
more. Oh, so it's per percentage. Alcohol, yeah.
Yeah. So spirits cost more.
Okay.
Then you get up to 30%.
Because
anything after 30% is even more again.
Cigars is just per weight. So no matter what length, they don't care. They basically ask you how much does the cigar weigh. Yeah,
it's just because of what you can measure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can measure how much alcohol is in it.
You can't measure like.
You can't measure how much nicotine is in the tobacco, can you? Sardinia is a bit of a funny one. See, because it's an island, everyone in Sardinia don't even class themselves as Italian.
Oh, it's like that, yeah.
They class themselves as Sardinian because you got Italy, then you got Sicily, which is the first island closest, and then above that you got Sardinia. So they're very patriotic out there, and they don't even class themselves as Italian. They class themselves as Sardinian.
I think there's a thing with the islanders, because probably. Spain as well. The Canarians, they're not Spanish.
They're not Spanish. No.
They're Canarians.
Yeah. But you know, when you're talking about wine, a lot of Italian wine importers or suppliers don't tend to bring in Sardinian wine because there's an extra step, which means there's an extra cost in bringing the wine in, because it's not just got to go from
Italy to the UK.
It's got to go from Sardinia to Italy to the UK.
So that one is on your website?
It is sardawine.com.
And the cigar is in toropuro.com. But again, you don't have to just go and buy our stuff.
If you're going to buy wine in a supermarket, I don't recommend buying anything under £10-15. Go for the better one, because there's nothing worse than getting a bottle of vinegar.
Cigars, again, if in the UK normally, overall you find cigars over £15. Normally you don't find nothing cheaper than that because duties and all of this stuff. But overall, you have a good selection of cigars in the UK.
Yeah.
When you go abroad, like Spain and stuff, they do have cheaper cigars for like €5-6. Nothing wrong with them again, but it's like buying the Tesco wine.
Yeah.
You do get the experience, but you don't get the indulgence.
Yeah.
Are all your wines Sardinian wines?
Yes. On Sarda Wine, I was selling a little bit of wine from different regions, but the problem is the concept that I've now set up with the wine business online is I import Sardinian wine, so
you're just going to be...
So it's straight Sardinian wine, yeah.
Any one you would recommend from your website that would be nice for somebody who just want to, enter the Sardinian wines.
Yeah, the best one is to try, if you're going to try the white, I would go for the Vermentino, which is the minute we got the Prendas Vermentino. That's the flagship white grape of the Sardinian islands. So it's very floral. It's dry, but not too dry. It's a nice, well-balanced kind of white wine, very fresh, a bit of spiced apples, perfect as an aperitivo. There's a fantastic rosé.
I like
the Rosada, which is done with
summertime.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, very elements of like strawberry and watermelon behind it again. Nice aperitivo. You could drink that even without food, just in the sun. That's a nice rosé. And then for the red wine, the main grape is called Canonau, which is a Sardinian Grenache. That's the flagship red grape of the island. That's usually got a lot of body to it, kind of those dark berries, forest fruits, peppery, nice robust kind of red wine if you're into that. And Vermentino, Rosada, which uses the Canonau grape, and then Canonau. Maybe next time we'll do a rosé or a white wine.
Yeah, those wines would work better with a lighter body cigar.
Yeah. When are you getting Columbus in, man?
They're being shipped. They're in transit.
God damn it, man. We need Columbus.
Custom takes ages, man.
That's going to be the title of the podcast when the Columbus are in.
Columbus are back.
Yes. Best cigars, man. As soon as they come in, you won't have any to buy online because I'm going to buy them all.
Oh, we have a lot coming in.
What's a lot?
500 cigars.
I'll buy 499. One cigar
for me
one
to one for me for the podcast.
I haven't got a humidor that big, actually.
I started with that little one. 50 cigars. I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's the size of mine.
That's a lot of cigars. 50. Why would I want 50 cigars?
Yeah.
And then with like 3 months, 4 months.
I love how it's empty now.
Yeah, I don't use it anymore because
he has a huge fridge. Big fridge-looking fucking thing of cigars.
Like a wine fridge.
Literally like a wine fridge.
Yeah.
With shelf. It is a wine fridge, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. They
on the shelves, you can set different temperatures, can't you?
And not on that one.
Oh, okay.
Not on that one. That one has the whole thing has the same temperature.
Right.
And it has the box underneath where you put the distilled water.
Right.
With fans which circulate the humidity.
Yeah. He actually doesn't have a normal fridge. He just has a fridge full of cigars.
I have a good wife.
Yeah. Well, cigars for breakfast, then kids' cigars.
So from here, I bought another one. So I had two. I had this one and I had a desk, similar to yours. And I'm still getting cigars, and I had them in Tupperware, in Ziploc bags, everywhere. I said to my wife, look, this is getting messy. Let me get a I think it was 1,200 cigars humidor, and then that'll be it. I don't need more than that. That's what I thought, yeah. Put everything in there, and then the same story, like, and I was smoking a lot more, because now I got cigars to smoke, and I had to do reviews, and I had to do this and that, so I was smoking a lot of cigars. And now I started the business, so now I have an actual room filled with cigars.
You got more than that fridge?
Of course. So for the business, I got a room about this size, shelves.
Well, Columbus, I hope.
The Columbus are coming in.
Like, you know.
Anyway.
That's it.
Thank you guys for watching. We've done already a video. This is a second video. I will probably link somewhere here where you can go and watch it. This is going to be a weekly thing. If you like this video, the next videos are going to be like this. A bit of a chat, a review, pairing, talking about business, life, cigars, wine and stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you want to try Ricardo's wines, go to
sardawine.com, and if you don't want to try the wine by buying it, you come to the restaurant. You come to Cardiff and you come to the restaurant.
Yeah, so you get the experience, you get to meet the guy himself, make you some fresh pasta.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy cigars, toropuro.com, the selection there has been created by me, and not just for me, not my taste, but cigars that will be nice for anybody who's starting or anybody who knows about cigars. There will be a nice cigar there. The collection is growing, and not just cigars, we got accessories, we got leather goods. It's a men lifestyle store, so check it out. But if you don't want to go and you prefer to actually go to an actual shop, make sure when you go, you speak to the person there, let them know what your taste profile is, what kind of stuff you drink, you eat, when are you thinking to smoke the cigar, maybe even pair it with, and I'm sure they'll recommend something nice. It is nice, but we gotta go. Cheers.
Ciao.